from my childhood when most of the kids, they were dreaming to become spacemen or something like that. I was dreaming actually to become a businessman.
So a lot of people treat data quality as a one-time cleanup exercise. Is that how it works, or is it really more like an ongoing maintenance?
When you speak to your customer, he usually cannot even name all the places he wants to automate because it's so routine, you so got used to it that you just don't notice that it's something which is bothering you.
From early beginnings as a programming educator in Ukraine to leading DuoNext into the forefront of AI-driven innovation, Oleg is a technology executive who transforms complex challenges into scalable, global solutions.
You're using also human coaches at the same time. So what does AI miss that a human coach catches?
Some companies, they are afraid of AI, they do not want to move forward into this direction, and they just let their competitors be ahead of them. But other problem which is not smaller, that's when indeed you're just trying to automate everything.
Welcome to Automate or Die Trying, the show where moving fast and staying secure isn't a contradiction, it's a job. I'm your host, Will Ramos, and today I'm sitting down with Oleg Daniluk. Oleg runs two companies at the same time, DuoNext and a software development and AI automation firm he founded nearly a decade ago, and Insightful.ai, where he's CTO building AI that reads the emotional temperature of a sales call in real time. He started as a Java developer in Ukraine, built his way up to leading distributed teams across continents. And now he's deep in the trenches of deploying AI agents that have to work in real time, not just in a demo. Oleg, welcome to the show.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you. So for listeners, Oleg, give me the quick version. What are you responsible for right now at DuoNext and Insightful, and what does that scale look like?
In fact, I have a lot right now on my shoulders. So I started as a tech guy, so that transition was not easy for me. So right now, as a CEO and a founder, I need to actually talk to customer, talk to my employees. So it's much less technical side, but as well, it's more like customer retention and the sales as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I was running DuoNext, so I felt that gap in myself that I'm a tech guy, but I need to sell, and it's given really hard for me because I don't know all those sales techniques. So I'm learning them. Of course, I'm improving, but still it's hard. And that's why actually I got to know Insightful, and I joined this startup because it resonated with me pretty significantly because it helps you during the sales call, not after the call, but during the call. It helps you to handle objection, to raise the correct question. So it guides you during the conversation. And yeah, that's what I was missing for my sales. And that's why I actually joined it as a CTO. And that's where a bit of tech came back to my life, so I can code there, I can create the technical solution. That's what I love as well.
Yeah, so you started Java in Ukraine almost 20 years ago, and now you're running an AI automation company out of North Carolina. Walk me through that path. How did you go from enterprise Java developer to founding DuoNext?
Well, it was, I guess, like from my childhood when most of the kids, they were dreaming to become like a spaceman or something like that. I was dreaming actually to become a businessman, which was maybe weird, I don't know, but that was my dream. And yes, so with my career path, so I learned from junior to middle developer, and even before I was on a senior level, I already became the team leader because I still I tried to interact with people. I always try to solve tasks not just like from technical side, but as well from business perspective, to understand what the value would this solution give to the business. And that's how I found my first clients. So first we started with a few people on a part-time with the small projects, and yeah, right now we grew to 30 people because I saw all those issues in outsourcing, outstaffing. I had even case when one company they just refused to automate one process because it meant that they will not hire more people for this process, so
Mm.
they will lose revenue. But this is this is not good for the customer. So I decided to start my own business to actually be a good partner for my clients and not to just earn money, but also to give value to them.
Now you were building banking systems, high loading ticketing platforms, and enterprise service buses, heavy stuff. Like, how did that foundation help you shape the way you think about building AI agents today?
Uh, yeah, so having this big background really helped me to understand what issues each company has, like in banking, in insurance, in biotech as well. So all of them, they have a lot of similar problem. They also have specific to their domain issues, which are maybe hard to automate. Some of them they like have their specific workflow, so you don't have any ready product which you can use to automate it. So that should be specific project, and that's where I saw the possibility for AI to actually improve it and reduce the cost of the process, reduce the amount of manual labor.
Hmm. Now you founded DuoNext in I think early 2016 while you were still working as a team lead at DAX. What was the moment you decided to go out on your own? Was there, like a specific frustration or opportunity that tipped you to the other side to, starting your own thing?
Mhm. Uh, yeah, so in fact, there were indeed like several years I worked as a team leader, full-time job, and as well as a side job. I was running my business, which, as I said, was like small with several part-time developers.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, one day, so one of my previous customers with whom I worked several years ago, he came to me and said, I have a project. I need several people. Can you help him with that? And that was the start where I actually switched to my company. So I was still team leading, but I switched to part time. And then sometime later, I abandoned the job, give the project to other people, and yeah, just continued with my own company.
Yeah. Yeah. You talk openly about the entrepreneurship grind, one that I know very well, working evenings, weekends, and still showing up for your kids. Now, how do you actually manage that? Not the motivational version, but like the real version. How do you manage that?
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to manage indeed. I try to optimize it. So, for example, anyway, it's good even for the job if you doing some sports, but sports requires time. And then, for example, when I drive with my kid to soccer training, so I have this 1 hour and a half of my time. So one option, if I have some urgent tasks, I just bring my laptop. But still, it's not ideal because I have just one screen. I don't have my mouse with myself, so it's a bit slower. So those hours I try to actually, for example, try to cycle. I try to even I just take the ball because I like soccer as well, and just train in the field nearby to improve my skills. Yeah.
Okay.
As well, we have like strict hours for in our family. So, for example, every Saturday we play board games. So this rule which cannot be changed.
That's good. Yeah, that's good to have that. So you've got this deep enterprise background. You built a company serving clients on 2 continents, and now you're neck deep in AI agents and automation. Let's talk about what that actually looks like in practice. So you were quoted in ZDNet recently talking about deploying AI agents and how you made a point that stuck with me. Right, the AI works well when it has quality data underneath. and you built an agent at DuoNext to automate lead validation, and you ran straight into the wall of getting usable data from social networks. Tell us that story.
Yeah, that was not big, but pretty challenging project because
Mm-hmm.
you cannot just like go to LinkedIn and take the data. So they do not allow it. So they block you. So you need to manage like different workarounds. Sometimes you need to just skip it and make an assumption. And yeah, that's where we were actually testing our model because still when you deploy the AI agent, so you automate the workflow, but it doesn't reduce your manual labor for the first like week or two because you're checking all the steps to understand where it might be mistaken, where it can be improved. And yeah, so for some cases where we cannot get enough data, so we just rely on web scraping where we can go to, for example, company site and from the site understand what are they doing, how big they are. And we implemented the scoring mechanism. So we just, if I'm not mistaken, like 60% score, less than 60%, then we just skip it and we don't spend manual time for that. So we may lose some useful leads, but we agreed for this risk because we're just not spending time for this and we're spending more time to more relevant leads. So it makes sense.
Now, you said is 60% that threshold, or like when you're validating leads with an AI agent, is that 60% good enough to that doesn't make the agent useless, right?
Yeah. So if it's below that number, then yeah, it's most certainly not a very good lead. And then, so what we usually do, if that's from 60 and more, so we do check this lead. But if that's less than 85, we do just the manual, the smallest check. So not to spend much time to understand if it might be useful or not.
So a lot of people treat data quality as a one-time cleanup exercise. From what you've seen deploying agents, is that how it works, or is it really more like an ongoing maintenance?
It's definitely ongoing maintenance because still during the lifetime of the organization, the data is changing. Some data becomes irrelevant. You got some new inputs. So, and even just with the same data, the business rules might change, and you will just need to even having the same data, just update your model to treat it differently. So yeah, you cannot just like deploy the agent and forget about this. You need to constantly update it, validate it, monitor it. But yeah, still it makes sense because it improves results, it fastens the outcome, and sometimes indeed all you need is just speed to be first to reach the potential client. Yeah, and that helps.
Yeah, let's shift to Insightful. This one really kind of caught my eye. You're building a platform that gives you sales reps real-time emotional intelligence during live calls, reading micro expressions, tonal variations, and feeding that back to the rep as the conversation is happening. That's a hard technical problem, right? What does the architecture behind that actually look?
Mhm. Yeah, it's indeed like pretty complex project. And first, what comes in the mind, so what you would do like to get the emotionals, so you need to read the video, like if I'm smiling or not. You need to read the voice. You need to, of course, read the transcription. But it's really hard. So right now, the most we rely on the transcription itself because current technology, they do not like really allow you easily to understand. Even if I said I want to buy it, that might mean that I want to buy it. Or maybe I said, yeah, I want to buy it. So that
Mm,
was sarcastic. This is the
right.
same phrase, but they're the different meanings. So it's really hard to catch it. And we're implementing the internal solutions to actually handle this. But for now, the main source for for the emotions, for the suggestion is a transcription.
Now, how do you handle like latency, right? If the AI is reading emotion and feeding coaching to the ret, and it has like a near instantaneously, there has to be near instantaneously, or is it useless? I mean, what's the biggest engineering challenges there?
Mhm. Yeah, that was one of the hardest part because our first version it has delay of 2 seconds, which is not too bad, but still you will not say to your lead, just wait 2 seconds and then reply, right?
Right. Yeah.
You need it fast, and i- it's not even enough to have it fast because you still need some time to read it and then to say it. So it
Mm.
should be like half second maximum, and that's what we achieved. But still, like we getting feedback from customers that it's also you need to get used to it to process the hints fast, and we try to make it short as well because of course, ideally, we can make a suggestion like 1 page long, but it will not help you during the call. You will not read it. So it's short, sharp, and yeah, you can just look and ideally even like just by keywords you understand. Okay, so that's the direction I need to go, and then you make the phrase yourself.
Now, you're using also human coaches at the same time. So what does AI miss that a human coach catches, so vice versa?
Uh, yeah, because human all has experience. The same, in fact, as AI because it's trained on the data. But the issue is still that it just data, so it doesn't have feelings. It doesn't know like your facial expressions. But that's what human coach knows, and he can detect all those like hidden behaviors.
Hmm.
So indeed, what we anyway recommend, like even if you're using Insightful, still you need to also get your advices, but it's offline, so it doesn't need to be like during the call. So Insightful helps you during the call, but after that, still you might have like consultancy with your leading sales coach to actually help you to process it. Yeah. So we are not trying to abandon the human in the loop. We're just trying to help them.
Right. So when you're training a model to read emotional cues in a sales context, right? I mean, how do you handle the fact that emotions are culturally contextual, right? So, like, for instance, does a frustrated buyer in the US sound the same as the one in Germany, let's say?
Mhm. Uh, well, yeah, that's a hard question. So to be honest, we do not pay too much attention to it right now. So when you just start with Insightful, so it will work like pretty similarly. But then when you use it more and more, it is learning on your conversations, and then you will have like each new call, you will have better results.
Now, have you been in a situation or seen a case where AI read the emotional wrong and that actually might have hurt the conversation? And what happened and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, we had that, of course, during the testing, and
Mhm.
also once we had a feedback from customers on a production as well. So indeed, those are usually like edge cases, and that's where you should understand that still AI helps you, but it doesn't replace you. So you need to be careful with that. We do not have it much, so we trained the model pretty specifically, pretty intensive, and we have like automated tests for actually catch all those gaps, all those incorrect behaviors. But it might happen indeed. Yeah.
Okay.
So when it happens, we usually like add this case to our tests to actually track it to catch if that might appears again to retrain the model.
What's the most common version of, I'm trying to replace everything with AI that you see? I mean, what do companies automate that they shouldn't?
Yeah, that happens all the time. I would even say there are two problems. Like some companies they are afraid of AI. They do not want to move forward into this direction, and they just let their competitors be ahead of them. But other problem, which is not smaller, that's when indeed you're just trying to automate everything. So you start in the big projects trying to replace all the humans, automate all the processes, but that doesn't work like that. What I always advise to my customers, just start small, and that small, that's not even often the one process of your company. That's usually just one step in one process. That's where you can try with small project. You can see pretty fast the outcome if that helps to you, and then you can scale it with more processes, more steps.
Now, is there some type of, I guess, framework evaluation that you may do when you walk into a new client and try to figure out where automation will actually create value versus where it may create problems?
Yeah, it really differs from client to client, but we are working right now actually on the like background rules, on the playbook for different industries, uh, because one thing is that still like each industry has the common problem for each of the company usually, so that's why you can automate. But as well, when you speak to your customer, he usually cannot even name all the places he want to automate because it's so routine, you so got used to it that you just don't notice that it's something which is like bothering you, but you just don't mention it. So we sometimes even just go to client office, sit there and just look what are they doing, what can be automated to actually generate new ideas for them.
Yeah, you're known for transparency, right? And have you ever seen a project that can't be done within scope, right? You tell the client up front, hey, I can't do this within scope, or that you're trying to do it. Has that ever cost you a deal, and it was it worth it?
That cost me a deal indeed there were a few times, but I can tell that it doesn't worth it because anyway, even if we took this project like client to client that yeah we can do it, it would be on time, then still the relations would be broken. So we would we could even like finish this project, got some money, earn on this project, but the client will not get back to us. The client will not advise us to his friends, to his partners, uh, and this is actually our main source of new clients. So our clients advise to our other clients, and that's where we get most of the leads. So I'm pretty sure this way, as this type of working, when you just promise something you cannot do, is wrong way. So it gets you nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you've got developers in Ukraine, you got clients in the EU and the US, and you're operating across time zones and in, Ukraine's case, an active war zone. How do you maintain engineering velocity and quality across that setup?
Yeah, especially recent months when Russia tries to get down electricity and heating during the winter, so it's harder. But yeah, about Ukraine, so we have offices in our main cities, so that's where you always have electricity, you always have heating, so it's not an issue to work physically. And also we pay for co-working in if the employee is in the other city where we don't have an office. But of course, then still it's hard to work in these circumstances where you cannot sleep normally because of the night bombs falling. But people manage. So indeed, I can say they are heroes. They still working hard. Of course, we can see some moments when the performance gets a bit lower of in some circumstances, but still the work is pretty good, and it's not an issue really.
Wow. When you're managing software delivery with a distributed team like that, where does automation help the most, and where do you still rely on a human judgment?
Well, in fact, we try to automate on the all the deployment processes, all the deliveries, so all which can be built and deployed automatically. So it's done automatically. So we can only like recheck that all is okay. Also, the tests after deployment they are started automatically, and you get the a dynamic report when you can see that everything is working. So all there is automated.
Hmm.
Uh, if we speak about the communication itself, so I wouldn't say that we like automated too much. Still, we try to get this human connection inside the team. Try to speak live with each others because it's important to have a good mood in the team to
Yeah. So, Oleg, before we wrap up, give me one belief or lesson you'd pass on to other founders or technical leaders who are trying to deploy AI in their business without falling into the hype trap.
I think I would advise, well, first, as I said, start small, but second, also do not try, like even with small process, do not try to make it ideal. Still, it's AI, you will have some gaps, but you need to try at least. Do not try to implement your model at first. Just use API to Gemini, OpenAI, so that's where the cost of implementation would be really low. You just call API and get the response, but you will already know if that works it or not. So if that works, if that helps you, then you can think on your server, on the custom model like Llama, for example, which you can train specifically for you to create the RAG and all the other stuff.
So, what are you most excited about building right now, either at DuoNext or Insightful?
I would say it's both because insightful I really love from technical perspective. I truly believe that it might change the sales world and it can boost the company's sales. And from the other side, I really like with DuoNext to communicate with customers to help them to see the results when I can see that yeah, this company they grew because of us, and yeah,
Hmm.
that's a real pleasure.
Awesome. So, where can people find you, follow your work, or reach out if they want to connect?
I actively working in LinkedIn, so they can subscribe to my newsletter, to my profile to read posts about AI and real business cases about AI. And yeah, that's my main network.
Oh, okay. Oleg, I appreciate you coming on. Real stories, real trade-offs, no fluff. That's what the show's about, right? So for everyone listening, and this conversation gave you something you can use, share it with someone who builds. Follow the show, drop a comment, and we'll see you next time. This has been Automate or Die Trying, where the future is being built in real time. Thank you.
Thank you.